So let's talk about monogamy. Let's talk about what about monogamy attracts gay men, in the sense that there's so many gay men who are wanting a monogamous relationship, and at the same time, there's so many that don't have the monogamous relationship. And I'm really asking this question because we want to look at what's the underlying reasons people are wanting to choose this relationship structure. Whatever relationship structure you choose, of course, that's your prerogative. But that still begs the question as to if all of these men here on the left want monogamy and the men on the right want monogamy, why are they not coming into union? I mean, this just doesn't make any sense. It's not making sense that when you look in YouTube, when you look at Facebook, when you look at TikTok, when you look at all these different spaces, chat rooms, you're looking at different types of groups and things like that, and even just out and about. Like, I have X amount of friends who they want these types of relationships. They want monogamy, but that isn't happening. The unions are not forming. People are not coming together. And it begs the question, why? What is the difficulty in creating these relationships, right? And there's a lot underneath that, you know. Part of it is that there isn't a conscious choice for a lot of men to move into monogamy. And what I mean by that is, by nature, human beings are not a monogamous species, right? And so what we have right now a lot of times is this culture where we have expectations and assumptions. We expect the guy to show up a certain type of way. We expect him to behave a certain type of way. We expect him to come with certain things. We assume that it's going to be monogamous. If I'm going on a date with you, I'm going to assume that it's just you and I. If we're in a period together, I'm assuming it's you and I. If we agree to move into to form a union, right, to become boyfriends, to become partners, what have you, I'm going to assume that the structure and foundation is monogamy. There's no discussion usually around that for a lot of men, for a lot of gay men. And what ends up happening is that somewhere down the line, then they're separating. You know, there's a breakup, right? There's some things going on because there was infidelity and somebody cheated. Somebody did some things that were, they did some things that were unacceptable, right? But we're not having the discussions to consciously choose monogamy. And when the thing about consciously choosing monogamy, or what I really call sexual exclusivity, because monogamy really is a thing in and of itself that doesn't define the human species. The human species is not defined by that. But we can choose to be sexually exclusive, right? A lot of time, and I say that because what people are calling monogamy, all they're concerned about is what you're doing with your eggplant, what you're doing with your peach. That's all they're concerned about. Okay, there's a culture around that of possessiveness, right? Of ownership, of that belongs to me. You don't share that with other people. You don't show that to other people. You don't engage with other people in that manner, right? And the entire relationship is built off of that. The entire foundation is built off of what you can or can't do with your peach or eggplant, right? It belongs to me. We share that together, and that's that, right? And so the assumption, though, that is going to be the foundation is problematic, because if you understand that that's not something that naturally flows into with the human species, that means that, oh, I might need a little bit of support. I might need a little bit of tools. I might need a little bit of a community. I might need something that's going to kind of help me to actually get this foundation, right? And get this stability and get this thing on the road. You know, if I'm having, if I agree to this monogamous union, right, we decide we're going to be boyfriends, partners, whatever the case may be, and me or the other person, what have you, are having difficulties with whatever is being felt internally. whatever thoughts, whatever attractions, whatever fears, whatever turbulence that's happening inside, and I'm not able to really articulate these things, right? We're not even getting into the whole thing about men navigating emotions, men understanding what's happening internally, being able to transmute that, being able to transition and things like that. Putting that aside, a lot of things are not put on the table, right? They're acted upon, and they're acted upon because of fear. They're acted upon because of confusion, because of lack of clarity, because they don't want to be blamed. They don't want to be judged, right? There's some insecurities there. The list goes on. And what I'm saying is that when this is a thing, and this is an actual reality for many, 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 many people, because we don't have a floor, we don't have a table to actually discuss these things. We just have expectations and assumptions. So this is why the experiences that people are having are being had. This is why the things are being done behind your back. This is why you're doing the things behind the other person's back, right? You know, you don't have the space to talk about these things, right? We claim we want honesty, we want truth, we want authenticity, and these types of things. But this is one of the number of reasons why these types of relationships are not happening. We're going to get into the whole open relating and these types of things like that, because that's also high on the list that a lot of people say, well, this is the reason why I can't find a monogamous relationship. This is why it's not happening. It's because the gay people, their relationships are open. They don't know how to commit. But we're going to get into that because that's really more of a skill set thing. You're not having what you want because you don't have the skills. You don't know how to build what you want. So it's just easier to just blame it on the people who are actually having a different relationship structure than you. So number one, in regards to creating that monogamous relationship that you say that you want, is to really understand what you're going to need to pad your relationship long before the relationship actually exists. What kind of tools do you have? What kind of support system do you have? What kind of skill sets do you have? Do you have that as a foundation to be able to create that floor and to be able to put these things on the table to talk about authentically what your needs are? What's your vision for the relationship, right? What are your expectations? If you have expectations, let them be voiced, right? Let's not have these unspoken expectations, and then when things hit the fan, you know, you're done, right? You're leaving the relationship, right? What is actually commitment? And commitment begins long before the relationship begins, right? So do you have the fortitude to actually navigate the challenges that are going to come up? I promise you they're going to come up. I promise you that, because all human relationships have challenges, and those challenges exist to grow you. They exist to further develop you. So if you believe that you're going to enter this union, this monogamous relationship, or any type of relationship for that matter, and there's not going to be any issues, you are kidding yourself, okay? And you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're going to be the one that's going to be exiting the relationship rather than growing through the issues so that you can experience the benefits and the love on the other side of those challenges.